Thank you for being here, everyone. This is Kathy. It is the top of the hour, so I'd like to get started. Those of you who have heard this before, one more time. I swear that's all. For those of you that are just joining now, if you can hear me okay, I'd love you to check in with me with your hand raise icon. If you can toss one of those up, thank you so much. I can clear those from my end. But those are a great way for us to communicate throughout the session and for me to know that you have a question and open up your phone line. Because there's so many of us on the call, I keep everybody muted until an appropriate time so that there's not so much background noise on the call. So an official welcome to everyone. We so appreciate you taking time out of your busy days to join us during these micro learning sessions. This one, obviously, on our dp2 and CaptureLife relationship, primarily around the green screen workflow. And I'm really happy today to be co-hosting with TW from CaptureLife. TW is a master educator and podcast host, and he will talk with you about getting started with CaptureLife from a business perspective. He's also going to talk to you about revenue opportunities with this platform and educational opportunities. They can help you educate your customers so that they understand the benefits in their revenue opportunities as well. So TW, if it's okay, can you check in with me and let me know, did I put you on the hook for something you didn't plan on covering today?
I'm here and we'll have a great time covering all those topics. I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely, thank you. And I will officially pass it off to you in just a few minutes. There's a couple of objectives here for the call today, everyone. First of all, I want to start with this big picture green screen working overview of the workflow. And I'll do that first of all here inside of my PowerPoint presentation, and then I'm going to jump over to dp2 and run the real demonstration for you. But it's all about, this solution being now a part of your production system in dp2. Via the API, you can upload your JPEG files and now your PNG files. That's what really enables it as the green screen workflow, so that when consumer delivery of these files takes place, they're engaged. They're not only engaged in a platform where they can purchase more prints, of course, but they're engaged in a platform where they can view that PNG image on different backgrounds and how cool that is to see the images on different backgrounds. And it's giving them choices. It's giving them a level of engagement that we know consumers are looking for. So I'll give you that overview, and then I'll toss it over to TW, who will talk to you about getting started. He'll share his contact information with you guys, or TW, I can send that out to everybody that's on the call as a follow-up to any information you want me to share. That way I can. But TW will talk about those revenue opportunities, the educational opportunities. That's why I have this icon here at the bottom of the screen, because they're experts. CaptureLife is experts at helping you educate your customers about these opportunities to engage more, sell more, offer more choices, everything that consumers are really looking for today and what this platform offers. And that's what our overarching theme for the session today is, everyone, is that's bridging the gap. How do we bridge the gap between what consumers want and with solutions that are responsive to those needs? We know they want both print and digital products. I mean, we've known that. We've been talking about that. We know they're looking for that level of engagement. So, and I commend all of you on the call who have tried other solutions, are working with other solutions, have integrated, and you've enabled yourselves and your customers to bridge that gap. I commend you for everything that you're doing and trying and using. It's awesome. And we, as Kodak Alaris, we will keep doing what we're doing by helping you streamline and integrate solutions from your production system, as in this one case with CaptureLife, where we're now, thanks to development efforts, automating the upload of both JPEG and PNG files with instructions from dp2 that, you know, ultimately reach the consumer, but offer them this modern day digital delivery platform, providing them with the convenience and simplicity and easily shareable solution for all of you and your customers, helping you reach a wider buying audience with that easily at your fingertips shareable solution, and ultimately giving consumers choices. That, who doesn't love choices, especially in today's point and purchase type opportunities on our mobile devices everywhere all the time, ultimately in this case leading to more digital and print purchases. You know, obviously a huge benefit there. So that's our overriding message. Our overarching message really is, what can we do together? How can we work together? And this is one way where we can work together to bridge that gap. So let me share with you visually here in PowerPoint before I jump over into dp2 and I'll run the live demo for you. The last CaptureLife session that I ran about a month ago, I did get into kind of click here and do this and more setup and how to detail. This session won't be quite as detailed as far as the actual steps, but you know, setting this workflow up because of the automation that's been written in via the API to CaptureLife, there's not a whole lot of setup. So please just don't take this session as your be all end all to what you need to get set up and started. We all want you. CaptureLife wants you to know that they're there for you to help you get started. You know that we're here for you to help you with your setup, you know, in person. We have so many resources. The dp2 help file is awesome. We have an e-learning course. This is being recorded. Our other CaptureLife session was recorded. So you guys know, hopefully with confidence, that we are here for you to help you really set this up. But let's just look at this from a workflow perspective, starting with images coming into you. I'm only showing the images coming in. There's another side coming into you, which would be your orders, your prints, your order items, both print and digital delivery pieces of the order, a prepaid package order that includes a digital delivery. That digital delivery might be an a la carte item, but in this case, because we're dealing with green screen images, there's that extra level of engagement that I'll show you that the consumer gets to experience by choosing different backgrounds, and you and your photographers can set prices on backgrounds and you give discounts for multiple backgrounds purchased. But you know, normal things happen going into dp2. Whether you're using, you know, a photo links solution, whether it be image match or flow or rows, or whether you're importing in subject information into dp2 and creating your order items from there, you know, this is now a part of your production system. And that's why I said before that we'll keep doing our part in trying to make your production system workflows more efficient and your integrations with different solutions more efficient. And that's obviously what's been done here. But you know, you're doing everything in dp2 as far as your image optimization and your cropping. You're cutting these green screen images in-house. You're outsourcing them to 36 pics or another solution. You're using auto retouching software. So now this solution sits side by side with these other production workflow solutions, so that ultimately when you deliver these images ultimately downstream to the consumer, they've been touched with these other workflows. They're optimized, they're color corrected, they're retouched, they're just a natural now part of your production system. So once those pieces and parts are done, then what, in this example that I'm using, what gets uploaded to CaptureLife would be both the JPEG image, that's the one that's on the background, and the one in the foreground. I can go back and show you that again. But the idea is that you probably the prepaid package was sold with that digital delivery product on a particular background, but you and your customers also want to provide the PNG file with the transparency and different backgrounds to choose from, to look at, to engage with, and it's all part of that experience for them. Now in dp2, we can send instructions to CaptureLife that do whatever you need it to do, whether you're a vertical operation or not. You might need to stop at CaptureLife so that your photographers go there. Your photographers will then touch these jobs with the backgrounds that they want to offer, the pricing that they want to offer. If you're a vertical operation, you might pass right through CaptureLife. Of course, it's going to go through CaptureLife and then ultimately be delivered to the consumer, providing them, I've said it a few times now, this engaging platform where it's at their fingertips. And it can be on a mobile device. That's really ideal because that's how consumers want to be reached. That's how I want to be reached. That's how, as a mom of school and sports age kids, I want to be reached. You guys heard me say it last time. You know, my daughter didn't like her 9th grade picture, and I had prepaid for it. And it's sitting at the bottom of her locker because she can't stand her picture. I know the lab, they're here in town, who the lab/studio that captures at her school. So, you know, yeah, I have a code to go in and I can order them. I'm probably not going to do that to her. I want to be respectful of her, but I keep on telling them, I'm like, well, can you send me the digital delivery on my phone so that I can see it that way and experience it that way? So that's how I know I would like to be reached. And just another quick story. A few years ago, I thought I was being wise by ordering a digital download product. So, you know, it wasn't given to me in a digital delivery platform like this that you see there on the screen that I could interact with and touch immediately and share if I wanted to and go through the whole experience. But I thought I was being wise, you know, okay, I'll order a digital download product this year. I downloaded it, went to my hard drive. Just like other years, nobody got anything because I didn't do anything with it. I didn't make the magnets, I didn't make the mugs, I didn't make the prints, I didn't do anything. So I think it's key in this day and age to find, you know, we're always tasked with what's the latest and greatest technology, because technology changes and shifts so quickly. And you know, reaching consumers right now, today, the way they want to be reached in an engaging platform is, we think, a vital part of bridging that gap. So here's a few steps before I jump over to dp2, and I'll run the demonstration and I'll pass it off to TW. Step 1 in dp2 is you need a CaptureLife product. We supply one for you in dp2. What makes it a CaptureLife product? Well, there's product nodes that contain a set of instructions that send CaptureLife a mobile phone number, an email, an event ID to keep the whole school or group together so that the photographer can work with that job as a whole group before sending out and notifying their clients. So we give you the product. I'll show you that in dp2. There's not a whole lot to that step, especially if you work with the one out of the box, although there's a message that says don't work with the one out of the box because subsequent installations of dp2 will overwrite that one. So we hope we're making it really obvious in all of our training resources and assets and the product itself to not work with the original. And please call on us if and when you're interested in getting set up, and we'll just help you one-on-one. Step 2 is make sure that your lab credentials, after you work with CaptureLife, you'll have your lab credentials, which makes you a CaptureLife lab. You'll insert those into dp2. It's on the export tab. There's a CaptureLife setup table that just needs a few entries in there. If you're a vertical lab, you wouldn't necessarily be putting in customer credentials in the customer table. But if your photographers are your customers, you're also going to need their CaptureLife unique ID inside of their customer record in the customer table in dp2. And that's how, when you upload images on their behalf, they'll be able to log into the CaptureLife portal and see their jobs, interact with their jobs, see how many views they have on those moments or images within the job, and a whole lot of great information that they can access. And in the case of the green screen workflow, they can assign the backgrounds that they want, the prices that they want, and then they actually do the notification to their customers. In all cases, just a note, photographers are always notified. They get an email that says, hey, an order has been uploaded on your behalf into the CaptureLife portal, and they'll be able to see those jobs and interact with those jobs at that point. There is a step 3 here, primarily only because I needed a step 3 for the whole power and rule of threes thing, but nothing new here. This is how dp2 knows that it's a CaptureLife product. When the render engine parses the jobs and it sees those CaptureLife nodes that are named actually with a CaptureLife prefix and contain a set of instructions that says, hey, CaptureLife, here's the mobile phone number, here's the email address, or here's another contact that we want you to send it to, or here we want you to contact the consumer automatically. There's so many overrides, everyone, in the system. I want you to have the confidence, at least now, that however you need this to behave, from dp2 to CaptureLife to the end consumer, there's a way for it to happen the way you need it to. The developers on our team, the developers on CaptureLife team have worked very hard to make that happen. And I also want to give a huge shout out to those of you who are on the call who have been beta users on this platform with us. You've been tremendous. You've helped us tremendously. You've paved the path very nicely and cleanly for labs that are now going to be coming on board, and we thank you for those efforts and your time in making all the testing that of course needs to take place in a beta environment when you're working on a new solution like this. So I know some of you are on the call, so thank you so much for that time and your efforts. Okay, so let me just quickly run through this demo in dp2. So remember, it's not your be-all, end-all to know exactly where to click and how to make things happen. I'm just going to run the demo without really getting into a whole lot of detail, although I will get into one piece of detail. Here's one of the CaptureLife products that I'm going to upload to CaptureLife. This one is, let's call it, the part of the prepaid package that included the digital delivery in which the customer ordered a particular background. So that's going to get uploaded to CaptureLife alongside with this digital delivery product that is the PNG. So they get rendered out differently in dp2. One is going to get rendered, I'm up here, if you're wondering where my mouse is, it's up on this output to disk icon. One is being rendered as a JPEG, one is being rendered as a PNG. Here's the set of instructions, everyone, that goes to CaptureLife. This is really the key. This is what makes it a CaptureLife product, are basically these nodes. I'll give you a quick peek here. These nodes that are named CaptureLife, followed by a particular instruction that gets translated through the API to CaptureLife to know where to put it and what to do with it. So, these are basically the CaptureLife products that come with dp2, at least one of them, and then I duplicated it for the PNG output. So, now this one, by the way, I'll just mention this really quick too. This one contains macros that are pulling data out of the subject information table, because I'm storing, in this example, information in the subject information table. Your photographers might be entering this information in their ordering platform. So if you're not storing it here, you're fully expecting it to come in with the job from the order entry system. So that's a way to pass the email and the phone number and the name and the event ID off as well. One other thing that I'll mention is that these products, well, the default CaptureLife product that we make available to you is set to auto size. So that's why these nodes look very small, is because this is a pretty large image that's auto sizing the product based on the pixel width and height. Some of my other images here were pretty small, so you can see those nodes look pretty big. Okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to run these jobs. I'm pretty sure I have a render engine open here. By the time I get to it, it's probably gone. So there's that piece. I think I have a worker already running, maybe not. Let me go to my events, so at least show you where that is. It'll be in this recording. So when the render engine sees those CaptureLife products, this is the automated part, it creates work queue records, and then work queue records get automatically executed. That's what's happening right now. You'll see some activity in this window as those work queue records that automatically got created, automatically put in a work queue that is now being pulled by this worker. So the lines of information and code for the CaptureLife API are being executed, and those images, the two that I sent, are being uploaded to CaptureLife. I just heard my email buzz that says to me as a photographer saying that, hey, a job was uploaded on your behalf to CaptureLife, go check it out, and then notify your customers. So now what I'll do is I'll bounce over to CaptureLife again as the photographer, and I'm going to grab and refresh my last job here. It should be, I think, a 353 job. You'll recognize the image that I used. So here I uploaded 2 images. And again, this is not your be-all, end-all to know what to do and in what sequence and where to click, but I am going to, as the photographer, choose a selling method, and then also the catalog of backgrounds that I've created. I've set prices to, I've set a discount for multiple backgrounds. Let me just click on this one more time and show you kind of what it looks like here in the portal. So one of the images, the JPEG, is obviously flattened on the background that was purchased as part of that prepaid package in which a digital delivery was ordered, or maybe the digital delivery was an a la carte item. And then this is the one that's really flagged as a premium product. It's the PNG, it contains the transparency. It's now tied to a catalog of backgrounds. There's a way in here to set all those pieces and parts up. But what I'm going to do, just to kind of show you the end result, is I'm just going to bounce back to my PowerPoint just to show you a visual of, okay, this is what gets delivered to moms and dads and whoever else was supposed to get the delivery. They can engage with this PNG file. The different backgrounds are available. You see a certain price, you know, per background. You see a discounted price for multiple backgrounds. So this can be set up in you know, the desired way, in specific ways, in different ways. But ultimately, it's conveniently in the consumer's hand, a touch and purchase opportunity, choices opportunity, sharing opportunity, of course, to purchase more digital products and more print products as well. So before I pass it off to TW, which I need to do momentarily, but I would like to pause here, and if there's any questions now that you guys would like to ask, I can field, or we can field questions now, and we'll also give the opportunity after TW goes through both the business side of the house and the revenue opportunity side of the house. So I'll just pause there for a minute. Okay, well, and if you would rather, by the way, if you would rather type your questions for us to follow up, you know, with a written response in an email, we can address your questions that way as well. But TW, how you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you. And when we're on this screen right here, it's real interesting to note we have a hard time displaying this particular workflow with these transparent PNG files because we've implemented shot blocking technology in here. So we're able to provide this really clean and crisp look while customers are playing with those images. So we've certainly taken that into consideration, and in that workflow, we have a hard time. It's funny because we have a hard time demoing it on a screen share, even because our app recognizes that we're even sharing a screen like GoToWebinar like we're using today, and it won't even, it shows up a blank black background. So
yeah, the first time I realized that, TW, is when I was mirroring my iPhone to my screen, and I'm like, oh, there's that technology. I should have realized that would have happened. That was cool to see, very secure to see.
That's right. And as Kathy mentioned, I'm going to get into some of the fun stuff, which is how do we all make money on this? Because CaptureLife has very strong messages for both labs and photographers. And I think by the time I'm done talking here, I've got about 10 minutes. I think we'll all be on the same page, just with an understanding of what CaptureLife is and how it fits into with each group, with whether you're a lab or a photographer, or if you're a lab, how do you get this out to photographers? And certainly by the time I'm done, I'm make sure everyone's aware how many resources are available to you, including me and my team here at CaptureLife, to make this happen, not only in your lab, but also how do we get this out to photographers? How do we get this into photographers' hands as a tool? Because again, there's strong revenue wins for all of us here in this, labs and photographers included. I come out of the photography side. I ran a vertically integrated youth sports photography company in Minneapolis for about 20 years. We had 20 photographers attached to our company, all in-house, and just so you get an idea, we also had our own lab, which we were running pretty high volume for an independent photographer, of course, 3,000 to 4,000 paid orders per day at seasonal peak. I left that job, came on board with CaptureLife about a year ago, and I've spent the last year ramping up both labs and photographers. Labs mainly with the technical side of it. How do we get CaptureLife flowing through some of these systems like dp2? But then I've also spent a lot of time opening up that channel out to the photographers and helping labs communicate this message out and what these tools are. For CaptureLife, getting to the dp2 layer of software has been absolutely critical, because we all know that regardless of the ordering system, so CaptureLife is integrated into several of the volume ordering systems out there that labs are running, and it seems like each month we bring another one on board. But it's, for us being involved with the team at dp2, we all know that those ordering systems merge into dp2 at some point in the process, and it really opened up the doors to lab services like color correction, image enhancement, and as Kathy pointed out, and if you're on the previous webinar, dp2 has now automated that whole delivery process. So I'd like to, before we get going, just mention that the reason that CaptureLife plays nicely with all of these software systems is because CaptureLife is not a workflow solution by any means. CaptureLife, it's best to think of CaptureLife as a product, more along the lines of an 8x10 or 5x7, something that's routed through a dp2 table and out to a printer. Much in the same way, CaptureLife, when customers purchase, photographers sell CaptureLife to their customers, and they send in the orders and they hit dp2. dp2 just routes that order out to CaptureLife. So if there's print orders included, it routes them one direction, and if there's CaptureLife orders included, it routes those orders out to our server and then out to the customer. One of the absolute critical points of this relationship between CaptureLife photographers and labs is it's for products like this, where what part of the benefit of CaptureLife is it's not just a delivery mechanism. And if we think of just delivery mechanisms like emails or Dropbox, or obviously CDs are kind of gone by the wayside. because Apple, for example, hasn't had a CD drive on their laptops since 2004. But really, when we land on the phone through CaptureLife, we open up this opportunity where the delivery that has a print store connected to it. Let me rewind 1 second. So the way this relationship works, a lab, we all, as labs, we've sold 8x10s out to our photographers. Photographers then make configurations of print packages or a la carte items, and then they upsell that based on their wholesale price that they're getting from the lab. I want to make it clear that CaptureLife fits into that model. Labs will buy a certain number of CaptureLife deliveries, and then photographers, basically, when they send in their orders, they send in their 8x10 orders, and they also send in their CaptureLife orders. So again, back to that idea that CaptureLife's a product, and it's bought and sold through labs and through photographers out to customers the same way we've been configuring our packages with 8x10s and 5x7s in the past. But the important aspect of CaptureLife here is there's a print store connected inside of CaptureLife, and that print store then can be looped back to your own lab processes, right? So in the past with emails, Dropbox, and those CDs or USB drives, all of that extra revenue walked out the door. And in today's world where we know a lot of where our competitors are headed, or even if it's not our competitors, but say where our consumers are headed, which is driven to their phone. I think I saw a stat somewhere that Amazon sales are tilted towards 60% mobile versus computer-based, browser-based stuff. So we know where commerce is headed, certainly, and CaptureLife can help labs through photographers get to that modern mobile commerce experience where the photographer made money on this CaptureLife delivery on the front end by offering it as a service or as a product to their customers. It came in through your lab. You've charged your wholesale prices as always. And then on the back end, we get to attach that print store and drive additional revenue back to your lab. And again, that opens up another shared revenue opportunity with the photographer. And what it does for a system like this, where we've got this green screen workflow, not only has the photographer sold that initial CaptureLife delivery, that JPEG image, but we piggyback that additional asset that they have, that image that they've already spent time and money to cut out, and we piggyback that on. We open up this opportunity for parents to play and engage, or kids to play and engage on their phones. And it's a way to generate additional revenue, automate this, and allow our customers to engage in that mobile experience, create new products. What's really interesting about this from the lab perspective is, imagine that this delivery happened. This was a school delivery that happened in the fall, but say around Valentine's Day or Mother's Day is coming up, for example, there was a set of backgrounds that included a rose garden, right? And the parent decided, hey, I want to buy that rose garden picture. Boom, they click on add to cart, they buy that image, it gets moved into their gallery with the rest of their professional images. And that image with the rose garden on the background, like say in the fall it was some sort of autumn, forest type picture that might happen on a green screen shoot in the fall. Well, around Mother's Day, that rose garden image makes much more sense to put on a mug or print on a canvas and give to mom for Mother's Day. And that stuff is all routed back through your lab. So really, CaptureLife, the role that CaptureLife plays in all of this is opening the doors to additional revenue, and then automating some of this additional customer behavior so that we drive additional sales through this modern mobile experience. dp2, of course, has made this, it all fits into your system that you have. They've made it easy to get started, and as you guys know, they have a tremendous support team. I'll be leading the charge for you here on the CaptureLife side. If you guys think this stuff is interesting, anything you've seen here, and need some more information, please feel free to reach out to me directly. My email is tw@capturelife.com. CaptureLife, of course, all one word. But again, I'm here. I'll guide you through the first steps of how do we, of course, the team at Kodak will help through some of these dp2 questions. I'll help talk through some of the other technical hurdles that we might find, and then we'll open the doors. I'm here because of my experience as a photographer. I'm here to help with awareness, photographer awareness that the product's available, with awareness, educational tools on how to use services like this to generate additional revenue, as well as any kind of webinar, any kind of informational, educational type that we need, anything that we need to do to help educate photographers. I just want you to know I'm on board start to end, and I'll stay connected all the way through the process. Thanks, Kathy.
Thank you, TW. That was awesome, awesome information. I'd love to open it up to live questions, and all you have to do to either ask a question or make a comment, if you give me that hand raise icon, I can open up your line. In the interim, we did have one question that came in, and I did send that question and answer response to everyone in your chat or your question box. But the question was, can I upload a 36 pics knockout file, or do they have to be PNG? And the response to that one, well, yes, is yes, you can use those. Just make sure that your output specification, via your output to disk icon, is set up to render that image out as a PNG, and you'll be good to go. So if there's a follow-up question to that response, please go ahead and ask. It takes me a second to scroll through everybody. I'm just looking for anybody who has a question. And the last thing I want to do is put anybody on the spot, but if there's anybody on the call that has already been working with this solution, and you've been through that beta process with this solution, if there's any comments that you'd like to share, please don't feel obligated, but I can open up the line for questions or comments. We have at least one of our magicians / developers on the call, Tom. I think Tom wasn't, I don't know, Tom's still on the call. Tom, if there's anything that you want to share, I don't want to put you on the spot. I really just wanted to give you a shout out. I like to call our programmers magicians because what they do, I always think it's magic. I don't know how they do it, so. Tom, I did make you a panelist, by the way, so you can control your own mute there. I should have made you aware of that before, that you were another one on the line that could step in anytime. I think your line is unmuted on my end, so you'd have to mute or unmute on your end.
So I always love to hear that I'm a magician. But no, I mean, there's a lot of things, that we obviously didn't explain today, but you did last time. So I assume today was a more high level covering. So I'm not sure what else I would bring up at this point.
Okay.
But I can answer any questions, including detailed questions if people have them.
Yeah, I did. We did want to save time for questions, so I didn't get into I got into some of the clicks anyway, but yeah, you're right. The last session was much more detailed as to those 3 really simple steps that I outlined here in the PowerPoint. I can go back to those to see if anyone has any questions with a different slide presented in front of us and different items on that slide. So I showed you the CaptureLife product with a few nodes that contain instructions, but there are many overrides in the system that allow you to change default notifications to the end consumer or not. For vertical labs, you can send the catalog ID with your jobs that contains the right catalog with the right backgrounds, with the right pricing, with the right discount, so that you don't even have to go into the portal, the CaptureLife portal, and manually touch any job before then notifying customers. I mentioned it in the beginning, but I think it's worthy to mention it again. However you need it to behave, you know, for you and or your customers in the portal, we're pretty sure at this point we've thought of that, or you've helped us think of that as our beta labs that have helped us so much with this. And we think we've covered much of which, many workflows. We think almost every workflow that will satisfy the way you would want these digital files, you know, delivered, either automatically once they hit the portal, or does someone need to, you know, interface with that job and assign something to that job or change something in that job before then notifying customers from the portal. So are there any questions at all?
Kathy, one thing I would throw in there, I think the part where they indicate the catalog from dp2,
yes,
not yet in production with
okay,
just based on an email that we got this morning.
oh, okay, good.
But I don't think it's too far away. It's just, if any of the beta labs are going to try that, I don't think that part is in production with CaptureLife quite yet.
And we did thank you, Tom. I really appreciate you being on the call and addressing that. There's another, subsequent question to the first one. Will you have to send 2 different products through the render engine in dp2 in order for them to have the option of choosing a different background? That's an excellent question. The workflow that I was showing everyone was the one in which a prepaid package was purchased with a digital delivery component to it. Therefore, that was the one that was rendered as a JPEG on the background. I additionally sent the PNG file so that the backgrounds could be attached. So to answer your question, no, you would not have to send both. And anybody on the line can, you know, tell me if I'm please saying anything wrong, of course. But yes, you could send just exclusively that PNG with those attached background choices. So that's another great question, David. Thank you. Are there any other questions at all? Okay, everyone. Well, since I did not, you know, get into the step-by-step detail of these simple steps, you know, I hope everyone is very confident that we are here to help continue to answer your questions one-on-one, to help you when you're ready to get things set up. Like TW said, you know, we're here to help you on both sides of the house. You have us on the dp2 side, you have CaptureLife on the CaptureLife side. There's certainly some crossover there that we can both help you out with, but I know as a result of the session last time, a couple of labs kind of wanted to have some one-on-ones to talk about things more specifically and address your workflows and your combination of workflows. So I'm just mentioning that as an example to say, whatever you need at this point, please hit us up on the service desk. Reach out to TW, as he said, tw@capturelife.com. That's how you really get things initially started. You'll need our latest version of dp2 to make sure that you have the CaptureLife functionality. You'll need step number 2 in place, your lab CaptureLife credentials. Remember step 3, I just needed a step 3. So these are pretty much automated processes as long as your render engine and your worker is running. Okay, everyone, well, that brings us to just about 2:45, and that was the scheduled duration of our webinar today. So again, I thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to join us, and please follow up with any questions you might have, and we'll see you on another, hopefully one of these sessions relatively soon. Take care, everyone. Thanks for being here. Thank you so much, TW. Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, Kathy.
Thank you. Take care, everyone.